Hello everyone, I am Sanad from Oregon State University. Today I am excited to share our work on analyzing the shifts in users' data focus in exploratory visual analysis. This work was done in collaboration with my labmate Nishchal, Professor Battle from University of Washington and Professor Tarmechi from Oregon State University. So what is exploratory visual analysis? We have large datasets with valuable information and we explore them using visualizations to discover interesting hypotheses or insights. This process is known as exploratory visual analysis or EVA. Now, EVA is important for easily discovering valuable information. That's why large corporations and academia are focusing on developing tools to facilitate EVA. For example, we can see some commercial applications focusing on EVA and some related research papers proposing some new visual exploration tools. Now let's see an example of an EVA task. Our user Alice wants to improve airline revenue. Generally, EVA tasks involve exploring large datasets with unknown structure, and users mainly do this before a more involved analysis such as model building. In this case, our user Alice is working with the aircraft collision with animals dataset, which is also known as bird strikes. It has thousands of rows and lots of columns with information related to the bird strikes incident. Some of the major ones are the aircraft and wildlife information involved in this incident, the flight details, the weather condition, the repair cost, and the part that was damaged in this incident. Now, initially, the user may not know which data area to focus on. For instance, our user Alice does not have any idea which of these data areas have information related to airline revenue. That's why users explore different data areas to understand the data. This helps them to generate a plan to complete the task. In this case, our user Alice first thinks that the flight details data area might have something useful. Then she moves to a different data area, wildlife. But focusing on different data areas one by one for insights is less productive. Visual expression systems help users in the EVA process by recommending useful visualizations. Based on the data areas the user was exploring, the VES tries to predict what data area the user will find interesting and then recommend visualization related to that particular data area. In this way, the user may find the insights faster. But it is challenging for the VES to support EVA because there are lots of different data areas and the number of possible visualizations are numerous. That's why the VES needs to model users' data focus shifts effectively. Now, existing models may not adapt to users' shift in data focus. Especially, the offline trained models may face difficulty in real time adaptation. What happens is the system predicts that repair cost is the data area the user will be interested in and recommends visualizations related to repair cost. But the user is not interested in repair cost, rather, she is interested in visualizations related to damaged parts. And in this way, the system recommends useless visualizations. Our goal is to benchmark learning algorithms to model users' shift in data focus. Especially, we want to find which algorithms provide the best real-time adaptation in EVA. And we particularly focus on reinforcement learning algorithms because one, they imitate how humans learn, and second, they are really popular for modeling user behavior. But we see that there are limited focus on reinforcement learning algorithms, especially in the visualization community. And not to mention that the proposed user learning algorithms from the VIS community are application specific. Now I will talk about our selected learning algorithms for our benchmark study. As we have already talked about our focus on reinforcement learning algorithm, RL algorithms basically fall into these three categories: value based, value free, and actor critic. And we pick candidate algorithms from each of these domain for our reinforcement learning algorithm. We also use Q-learning aligned, which is our modification to the Q-learning algorithm. Basically, it adds the ground truth information in addition to the environment reward. We also use some existing approaches from the visualization research and we use them as baseline comparing the RL algorithms. From them, we use the momentum model, which is a heuristic that basically repeats users' last action. And we also use the support vector machine hidden Markov model and Bayesian inference, which are more common algorithms seen in the visualization papers. We also use some simple heuristics that humans typically use for decision making. For instance, we have random, where the user picks an action randomly. We have win stay lose shift, where the user continues a winning action, but when she loses, she picks an action randomly. And in the greedy approach, the user picks an action that has yielded the highest reward so far. We reuse three influential EVA studies for our benchmark study. They are Tableau User Study by Battle et al., Immense User Study by Liu et al., and Voyager User Study by Zheng et al. We opted to reuse the existing user studies instead of conducting a new large scale user study because covering all the EVA characteristics would be infeasible. And as we can imagine, the combination of different datasets, VES, and EVA tasks can be enormous. Also, the diversity of our user studies will help future VES designers so that they can find the right algorithm for their use case. Our benchmark study considers diverse EVA characteristics because they directly influence users' interactions, and in our case, how users shift their data focus. Now we will go into some of the EVA characteristics, and the first one is task open-endedness. It defines how clear the EVA task objectives are. And based on that, we can divide the task open-endedness into two categories: focus task and open-ended task. So in focus task, users know exactly what and why where to explore. For instance, here our user Alice wants to know which weather condition causes the most bird strikes. To solve this problem, Alice knows that if she explores the weather data area, she will find the answer, which is overcast. But in open ended tasks, users do not know what and where to explore. And we already have seen the example of the open ended task that our user Alice was trying to improve the airline revenue and she did not know which of these data areas contain the information related to airline revenue. Now, how do we evaluate the selected learning algorithms? We try to find the accuracy of these algorithms in predicting users' next action, where the actions are how users shift their data focus. And we evaluate these algorithms in two different experiment settings. One is the population setting, where the models trained where the models are trained on the participants using leave one out cross validation. And the other one is individual setting, where the models are trained on the individual participants' first 80% of the data. So we basically use a 80-20 train test split for each individual user. Now let's see the results and some key takeaways from our empirical analysis. We find that online learning outperforms offline methods. And to see this result, we can just focus on these two algorithms, online SVM and offline SVM. We can see that the accuracy of online SVM is higher in all three user studies compared to the offline method. We also see that reinforcement learning algorithms, specifically Q-learning aligned, is overall better than existing approaches. For instance, the best simple decision making heuristics is the greedy algorithm, and the best baseline from the visualization research is SVM. And we can see that overall Q learning aligned outperforms the existing methods in Voyager and Tableau user study, but does a really good job in the IMANS user study also. RL algorithms perform really well in complex scenarios, which explains why Q-learning does not outperform existing methods significantly, because the decision space user has is smaller in IMANS. That's why RL algorithms do not have that significant advantage. But in Tableau and Voyager, we see that the RL algorithm performs significantly better. We also find that using population data may be advantageous for adapting to individuals, because then the models can learn about all possible data focus shifts. And we can see that Q-learning aligned, offline SVM and greedy, all of them sees some performance improvements for the population data. But we must stay cautious while using population data, as models may overfit and lack quick adaptation. And this happens especially when the user is doing something uncommon. And we can see for online SVM and HMM, the performance drops for the population data. In summary, modeling users' shifts in data focus in EVA is important. From our benchmark analysis, we found that reinforcement learning algorithms should be considered for modeling in EVA, and our diverse EVA scenarios are beneficial for VES system designers. Thank you.